If you're not failing in something in your business right now, you're just stagnant. Everybody that is growing, scaling, is failing in something. Get to the bottom of what is the lesson that you need to learn and move along.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Liz.
And this is Andressa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Invest Her show. Our mission is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life. And we work really hard, right, Andressa, to create that intimate global platform where we can support women moving the needle on their financial freedom journey. So excited about today's episode. I'm going to be talking about limiting beliefs and the 4 limiting beliefs that actually hold women back. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So Andressa, as you know, right, this is a big topic. Limiting beliefs is not something we just walk around every day like, oh, what are my limiting beliefs? Should I have a salad or a sandwich for lunch? And what are my limiting beliefs, right? So this is a big one though for women. And I wanted to actually give you the definition of a limiting belief to remind everyone what it even is. So a limiting belief is a thought or an opinion that limits your potential or restricts your ability to achieve something. It's a belief system that is serving you in a negative way. And Andressa, you know, you and I, all the conversations we've had, right? A lot of these limiting beliefs come from so many different places, whether it's our family, whether it's our culture, whether it's people's opinions of us, right? It's all kind of collected along the way. So we have to be really mindful and guard what limiting beliefs are coming up for us as we scale our businesses, as we invest in real estate, as we expand ourselves, right? I don't know what your thoughts are on that before I jump into the 4 that I think we've heard the most with all the women we work with.
I think it starts with like, what the hell are you talking about, right? I don't have limiting beliefs. After all the training, the work that I have done in my life, all my beliefs are abundance beliefs and powerful beliefs. But I think that independently on where you're at in your career, in your real estate journey, you're going to face limiting beliefs that you are not even aware of. So especially if you're scaling, if you're building a team, if you are growing a company, if you're implementing systems and process, you have different problems and you're going to face different beliefs that were not as evident as it was before when you were a solopreneur trying to, purchase your first property and figuring things out. So I think that as we look into those 4 most common limiting beliefs, many of them you're like, well, I don't know about that, if I fit that or not. So the point here is for you to observe, be curious about those limiting beliefs, and then do some internal work. Okay, which one applies to me? Which one has nothing to do with me? And what came up for you? So be open, right? Let's put the limiting beliefs that you don't have limiting beliefs to the side for a second. And then let's look at this closely.
Yeah. And I just to add to that before I jump in, every time we are caused to grow, I think the limiting belief becomes more evident. Meaning if you're kind of staying where you are, you've had a certain number of properties, you're kind of keeping things as is in your life. Those limiting beliefs may not show up, but as soon as you step up or step into a new role or, you're growing something that you've never done before, it's like, that uncertainty, that uncomfortable stretching that we do as leaders. That's when I think the limiting beliefs, at least in my own experience, come up more for me. So I don't have any. And then then something causes me to grow, right? Then I'm like, ooh, that belief's coming up for me in that situation. All right. So let's jump in here. I'm going to start with the real estate one. I need a ton of money to invest in real estate, right? How many times, Andressa, do we hear that? Is one of the biggest challenges preventing women even to scale my business. I need, obviously everyone needs money, right? That's clear. But the limiting belief is, where does this money need to come from? How you are able to be resourceful of the money and be a good steward of that money. And I think, Andressa, you tell a story when you were looking at a deal that had more zeros. It causes us to say, what's my limiting belief here? In terms of buying bigger properties, raising more money, doing bigger deals. I think there's a lot there for women as we grow and expand that might come up for us in our relationship with money, especially when it comes to growth. So I can just speak personally. For me, I know that whenever I'm looking at a property or a deal that is a little bit newer for us, maybe it has a little bit of a newness to it. So maybe it has a business associated with it. Maybe it has a short-term rental or a vacation rental. It's just a newer niche for me. It's not that I don't believe I can do it, because I know I can, and we are. But the limiting belief for me about the money part is protecting people's money in maybe a newer area, right? So I want to mitigate that risk. So I reframe it. I reframe it. I reframe things as saying, money is a vehicle to serve others. This project's going to be a win for everyone because of the resourcefulness that we have. And I kind of shift my belief in that moment if I have it. So what comes up for you, Andressa, for anything around money, or some of the women that we've helped too around their relationship with it?
What I hear a lot is that the sense either they're starting or they're taking their business to the next level, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of the solopreneur women they have figured it out throughout this quote unquote first part of their lives. And right now they're like, is this it? Right? Do I need to continue using my money for this quote unquote second part of my life? Do I have to? Then they start questioning, right? Do I have to have money? Correct. Money, you do need to have money in order to invest. That's a given. But do I have to have it?
Correct.
That is the question mark that I believe many women are facing it right now, to say, I don't have to have it. I bring to the table different types of experiences and different skill sets, different resources. And other people might bring the money because they don't have what I have. So it's a really questioning our ego, because many times that's what's running the show, our ego. I want to do it with my money to prove it to myself, to my parents, to whomever, right? But what's the point about that? And then what? Right? So I think coming to Jesus meeting and just okay, what is behind this here, and what is this serving me?
Yeah, absolutely. Another one that we hear a lot about is I don't trust people, right? And this comes up for a lot of the women that, are in our Strive mentorship program that are doing deals. They're doing everything, right? They're solopreneurs. They're doing a lot, or I want to say everything, but they're doing the majority themselves, right? And when you really get to the root cause of why we're doing certain things, right? Why you listening to this are doing certain things that are just not serving you anymore. You need to bring more people into the fold. What's the root cause of that, right? So what's really underneath all that is a limiting belief, possibly, that you don't trust people. And I don't know about you, Andressa, all the work that we've done, it always comes back to some experience that we had, along the way. And so how do you reframe that? We all know to grow a company and grow our portfolios, having a belief that you don't trust anyone isn't going to work, right? We all can agree to that. However, that's a big one for women, especially the women we connect with on the day-to-day basis. So what can you reframe? What happened to cause that for you? And how can you reframe that to move forward in a different way?
One of the books that I'm listening to right now, what it's proposing is the following, right? So at some point in your life, somebody betrayed you, and therefore you lost faith in humanity, at all the human beings. So you always start with, okay, this person, why am I going to train this person to be my virtual assistant? She's going to probably leave or not be a good employee to me, or whatever that might be, right? So what the person is requesting is that we put the belief aside for a second, and then we try, we hire, we train, and we fire, and we hire again. And you can pick up that belief if that happens. But let's put our belief about trusting people aside for a second. You're not giving up that belief, right? But you are going into hiring somebody not with that belief. You are going with the belief that you have trust, first of all, in yourself, in your ability to hire people. And if you don't, that's where you need to work on. and you're going to hire the right person that is going to take your business to the next level. And then if it fails, you can get that belief back. And then you put it aside again when you try to hire somebody else. But if you're going in with that belief, you are pretty much setting yourself up for failure, because you are already setting the trap for yourself. That all the signs that you're going to see will be signs for people that are going to betray you. So put aside, take a chance, and you're going to be facing different people with different experiences. And that's going to be changing little by little. It's like a healing process, to be quite honest.
I'd also say, just as you're talking, I think the other piece that would really help when you don't trust someone, I love what you're saying. I'd say, and the idea that what do you need to do? Like looking in the mirror, right? What do you need to do to improve your communication, improve your enrollment, improve your leadership skills? So sometimes we just don't want to go down that path, right, Andressa? Because then that's going to take work to now communicate differently to that person. It's just easier if I do it myself. I don't think enough women are looking in the mirror saying, what can I do differently in communicating and enrolling and managing and motivating and leading, and that's the work. That takes work and energy, right? So that's just another layer of that. The third one I want to share is, if I fail, I'm a failure. We've heard this a lot in our community. Some women, especially, kind of attaching their worth to their buildings, their projects, money that's been lost. And that can really kill your spirit. That's just going to stop you from moving forward, because there is no delineation of a failure and you. And so there is a delineation, right, Andressa? There's an enormous delineation. I know that the work that we've done with the women that we serve, right, that just because a failure happens, right, a mistake, money is lost, and a lot of money, doesn't mean you have to attach your value to that. And it's sometimes hard, especially if it's a big loss for some women. But I think the key is to really look at inside yourself and say, okay, I'm not that failure, right? I'm more than that. I am success, but that is a failure. Those two are not mutually exclusive.
I don't even know if failure exists, to be quite honest, though. What is a failure?
Right. That's another way of looking at it. Absolutely.
Oh, so I lost money. Well, what did I learn with that? What are the lessons that I can learn from that? And I think that, if somebody is not failing on something, they're stagnant and they're not growing. So I'm going to repeat that. If you're not failing in something in your business right now, you're just stagnant. Everybody that is growing, scaling, is failing in something, in some areas. Is it their systems and process, team building, finding new deals, managing the property managers, you name it. So just reframing that from like, okay, I'm gonna grow. They're gonna have some growing pain situations that I'm gonna have to face it. And I need to learn those lessons as quicker as possible. But if they are showing up over and over again in your life, guess what? You're not learning the lesson. So get to the bottom of what is the lesson that you need to learn and move along. And that's pretty much it. I don't believe that failure really exists.
I love that. Right? Because it is about the learning. Because if you don't fail, you're not learning. It's as simple as that. The last one I want to share too is around, it goes like this. I'm not, and then you could fill in any word, thin, pretty, young, old, enough to be really successful. So often we stop ourselves, and a lot of the, women in our community will say, in order to be really successful, I'm not, and then fill in a blank, whatever that blank is for you. And so many times I'll hear women say, I'm too old to do that. I'm too young to do that. I'm too inexperienced to do that. I don't know enough to do that. Right. And I would say there's examples. I heard this from a coach once, but there are examples of people and women who have succeeded with every single challenge in front of them. Right. We all know them. And those are the examples that kind of propel us forward. There's successful entrepreneurs as a 9-year-old. I was telling my son that today. He's like, I don't know if I think I'm too young to start a business, and I said, you're not too young to start a business. And then I'm going to show him examples of other 9-year-olds that are starting businesses. And then you hear it on the other end, right? I'm too old to learn a new trick. I'm too old to learn that new process. I'm just not technically oriented, or I'm just not fill in the blank. And so we have to watch our language. Before we can reframe limiting beliefs, we really have to be very strong stewards of what comes out of our mouths. I know I try to catch myself if I say something that, whoa, really? You become your words, you become your statements, you become what you say. So we have to be really good stewards of that. And if you hear someone else saying it in your accountability group, a friend, catch them. Say, hey, that's not what you want more in your life. You're not too young, or you're not too old, or you're not too busy, whatever that is for you. So I don't know what comes up there for you, Andres.
For me, it's like the circle, right? Who is around my circle? And as we grow older, some people won't make the cut to the next level. Simple as that, right? I might hang out with some people once in a while, but I won't really connect with them in a different level, right? And I watch very, very closely who I put in front of my son, because all the language, right? Even like food, what type of food, where we are going to eat, what restaurants we're going to eat. My son wanted a pistachio cake for his birthday. And I was like, oh boy, buddy, I don't think all the kids are going to freaking like pistachio, right? But I didn't force him chocolate or vanilla, because guess what? He was exposed to pistachio and he loves it. And he's like, and I think all the kids needs to try it, Mom. And I was like, I get it, but let's go. Let's bring cupcakes for the kids that are not there yet. Right. But that's all good there. I think that for me, it's more like, okay, what are we doing here? Who am I surrounding myself with that I can support and can support me? And that's what the reality, it becomes the reality. That's what our reality is. So when people say, oh, this isn't happening, I was like, that's not my world. That's not my reality. I don't stand around people that complain. I just don't. I repel, right?
You repel.
I just
Yeah.
don't, right?
Get away from me.
We get into like, okay, let's figure this out. Okay, who do we know? Who do we know? That's the question that we ask, instead of like, okay, this is happening to me. It's just not my reality. So if I want you to really analyze your reality, what's going on around you, right? Who do you need to say goodbye to? That's a hard thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do. I think that a lot of people don't want to do the work that is required for this new phase of their life. And that's what it comes down to. Right? So it doesn't matter if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. We hear the same thing. I am too, whatever, with the age, with the experience. So it doesn't really matter. But what really matters is, are you willing to do the work that it takes? And it's mind, body, and soul, honey.
Yeah.
Right?
All three.
There's no other way around. It's mind, body, and soul. It is all in sync. The work, it's all as a whole. So as you listen to us here today, what came up for you? Go to our Facebook community group. Share. As you watch this clip today, share on our social media, share on our Facebook group community what came up for you and how can we support you further. Thanks so much for listening. Ciao.